Take that, Carl the Crusher. Hey folks, welcome back. It's the Big Barn Build, and if you're new here, welcome. This is the Restoration Couple channel, and at the moment we are just starting out on our biggest project ever, which is turning this old cowshed into our dream family home, the farmhouse that we've always dreamt of. So you're joining at a good point because you're right at the beginning of this project. Make sure you're subscribed. You're not going to miss a thing that way, and you'll be able to follow along and learn with us. Alright, let's get this load out. I mean, look at that. That's like a 10-inch slab. That's a heavy load. Let's get the first gear, see if we can climb up. Alright, it's the next morning. I did a terrible job of filming yesterday, but I'll give you a little update in a minute. But let me show you something, because I've been losing sleep. Well, I haven't, but you know, I'm getting a bit worried that I've been breaking out all this concrete and I'm gonna have to go back through and break it down further because of the size of the crusher. A lot of people said, why don't you hire a crusher? You can get these kind of compact crushers and I could be here feeding stuff in. However, I'm kind of relating it to a bit like a wood chipper. And I've got a small wood chipper of my own. I've hired that Petra one. You're there feeding it in and it just takes forever. Whereas I've had the local tree surgeons drop off wood chip here in the past, and they've been working down the road and they're feeding in sort of 7-8 inch trees and it's just mincing it. Anyway, so with that in mind, I've got a concrete crushing contractor contact. That was a bit of a mouthful. His name is Carl the Crusher, which sounds like a wrestling name, but he's going to come over and get all this done here. I've been thinking, how big is the crusher? And I was thinking, well, surely it's going to be able to take a 6-inch concrete block. And then I've obviously been breaking out the slab and they come out in quite big chunks. Fortunately, I've just heard back from Carl the Crusher. The jaws are 650 by 650, which is pretty damn big. I mean, that'd take me. So that's that basically means that we don't have to make any additional breaks to these, and if some of them are a little bit bigger, I can just take a sledgehammer to them. But I think, judging by most of this, everything can go straight in. Also, I've just got to an area of slab which has some lightweight rebar in it. He said, don't worry, crusher has got a magnet system in it that crushes everything, pulls all the steel out. Oh, dream. So even these curbs here, he saw in a picture, he said, don't worry about the curbs, it'll nibble them straight up. So basically, it's all good. And I've done another estimate. I think we're halfway through. So you can get the idea of how much concrete we're going to get crushed and how much crushings, chippings we're going to end up with, which should be really useful around the farm. But like the cubicles that were down here, we're into some good type 1 here. I've dug down pretty much to the ground there. Oh no, maybe not. So we are full of sand and gravel type 1 that we can compact down once it's leveled out. Obviously, this is what I was on about. So this is the type 1, all really good. We're going to be able to reuse that. On top of that, the cubicles have been bedded up with sand. So this is just sand. So obviously, as the digger goes over that, crushes it up and that will become part of our sub base. But on top of that, in some areas, there was just a bit of, not much, but a bit of straw and stuff that had kind of created a nice little crust on top. So we want to get rid of that. But it's good. All the curb section's out this side. The other side I'm working on now. So we're going to be jumping onto the pecker again. But let me give you the wide angle shot, because that's what it's all about. It's good, isn't it? Like a school sports hall at the moment. So I've had another tidy up here. All the water pipes are gone. The block where there were blocks for water troughs in each corner, I've got rid of those. This concrete slab here is intact, but I don't really need to wait too much longer. A little bit of straw over there, get rid of that, and then we'll be able to break out these curbs today and start pulling it all out. But as you can see, this is a good example where I've broken out concrete. It's actually got a really decent, pretty undisturbed, untouched sub base there. What we'll have to do is just spend a good amount of time leveling all this now. So I think our goal should be, let's get the whole building done all the way up to the last steel. The last steel is where I've got some stuff still sat, and we've got the reinforced bit. So if we leave that separate, and those two walls, which is kind of here to here, we'll break everything out up to that line, and then we'll swap back, and I'll probably have a sort out then. Alright, welcome back. It's another day in paradise, and we're ready to start grinding. I'm gonna have a go at cutting these out this morning, but we really need to get a wriggle on today, because tomorrow's Saturday morning, and I've got Tim coming back, the sandblaster who did or the blast cleaner who did the brickwork a few weeks back. Basically, I need the bottom of these columns cleaned up so that we can get any welding done, and just so we can get an idea of what it's going to take to do the whole thing. I've had a few quotes for blast cleaning, and a lot of it will rely on waiting for the new slab to go down so we can get lifts and access in to do everything nice and safely. But Tim's able to just come for a few hours in the morning and basically do everything from ground level, so he can go up a couple of meters on all these posts, and then we can assess what's needed. The structural engineer can check everything over, and we're just making the most of having all the access and doing what we can at the moment. Right, that's taken a bit too much off. I'm going to just try to cut through half it, and I'll knock it with the hammer. Perfect, they slice off pretty nicely actually. Should have done that on the first ones. So with the last of those railings out the way, I can get in right up against those external walls now and start digging out some of that excess material. We don't need it all, so I'm going to start piling it up, and a lot of that we'll be able to take out in the dumper and use elsewhere. So we now know exactly where our datum line is for the architects, and where the rest of the slab prep needs to be levelled from. There'll of course also be some footings going in certain places, and this is the point now where the structural engineer can come back on site, check everything over. Any of the work that needs to get done to the steel's going to happen, but before that we've also got to get that little bit of blast cleaning done. That's just been done last week, so that's going to be in the next video. And that was a good thing to do at this point, because we could get lower than the ground level to make sure everything's cleaned and painted all the way down to the footings. Remember, we're on sloped ground here, so the footings are progressively deeper as you go through here, and we got all the way down there, checked sizes and checked the steels themselves, and everything is looking great. So there we go, there is your update. Bit of a short and sweet one this time, but there has been a load of progress in the last couple of days, so this week I'll be able to share a little bit more on that. Huge thank you to all of those who joined us up on Patreon in the last week. There's a whole load of new followers there, and we shared our new plans, which is the whole walkthrough and 2D layout of the whole build. So that video went up over on the Patreon, so if you want to see that, you can head over there. And shortly we'll also have some 3D visuals that we'll be able to share, firstly over there once we do a longer video, but of course we'll be integrating them into these videos as well. Hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.